So this is part three. You've watched the first part, and then you've watched some videos, a video of a public art piece on trial, then the second part, and then I had a couple postings of documentaries that you were supposed to have watched by now. So I think you're getting a pretty firm idea of what public art is and examples of it, and examples that apply to the project that you're going to be doing. So we're going to go over the project sheet and turn in here. You're going to be making an original scale drawings and planar model for public art proposal. So it's as if you were the public artist and you want this piece to be made. We'll look at a couple terms. Public art is art in any media that has been planned and executed with the intention of being staged in physical public domain, oftentimes outside. A model is a three-dimensional representation, typically of a smaller scale than the original. Scale is a ratio in size in a map, model, drawing, or plan. So it's in relationship to the final or actual thing. We talked about this with Richard Serra's piece that he plans things on an inch to a foot scale. Planar means made of joined flat surfaces such as plywood. In this case, you're going to be using matboard. And then I want to introduce this idea of isometric perspective, which I'll show you some examples of. It's a way of making a 3D object that eliminates distortion. You're going to be using matboard or cardboard, it's up to you. Lightweight spackle or joint compound to surface it with. You use hot glue sticks and glue guns to join it together. Paint, scissors, or a utility knife, an X-Acto knife. I recommend this to cut it out with, and a ruler is recommended for all your straight cuts. The requirements are a scale model of your sculpture. This will be the sculpture, but it's a model as in you would want to make it large scale. So your proposal is how big you want it to be in life when it was made, and you're making a model of that to scale. It has to be fully three-dimensional. There's no size requirement, but it has to be in scale to the final one that you would want to be made. So I recommend probably like an inch to a foot or 2 inches to a foot, depending on how big you wanted it, so you don't have a tiny little model. It's hard to work really small. You have to have a scale drawing from the front, side, and back. I'm going to show you examples of this. And then you're going to turn in your in-process planning sketches in the in-progress discussion board. And you're going to submit 6 photographs to this turn-in here. Right here, it's called project sheet and turn-in. One of each of the 3 drawings, and then 3 photographs of your sculpture, your model, from different angles. You want to put them on a neutral background, such as a white piece of paper or blanket for the sculpture and on the wall. And then you need to turn in an image of your final project for the class critique. That's an image of the model. I grade based on creative resolution, how refined and complete the work is, the surface quality, how clear your idea is and how expressive, and then really pushing into the material and participating in the critique, and sketches being turned in as well. So what is a scale drawing? We saw some concept sketches with Klaus Oldenburg. These are like concept sketches. They're not to scale necessarily. But these are scale drawings. Okay? Scale drawing means this much space on the drawing equals that much space in the real world. This is 3/4 inches equals a foot. So every 3/4 inches of this drawing would be a foot in real life. This is a concept sketch, something that shows the idea but doesn't exactly show the scale and isn't measured out. So these are scale drawings, and concept sketches are to give you an idea of the place and a feeling of it and the idea of it, okay? Concept sketches with people and environments to show it are really great for selling your pitch for a proposal to get someone to buy your idea, literally. Public art is often purchased by corporations or cities or architects, and so these models and sketches would be used to propose it, and then the final work would be made to scale off the model. So you have to have a scale drawing from the front, looking at it from the front, side, and back of the sculpture. That would be like the front. The back would be from here, and then the side would be over here as well. So front, this would be the side, and then the back on this piece. But it has to be 3 separate drawings. And then you have to complete a full 3D model that is made to scale. So using your drawing. So if you have 1 inch equals a foot in your drawing, you could do 1 inch still equals a foot in your model, or you could still do it, you could do it even bigger and say 2 inches equals a foot in your model. But I recommend, strongly recommend, that you do not work too small, okay? And that you work at actual size. What do I mean by that? Make your drawing the same size as your model. Okay? Make your drawing the same size as your model. That's my recommendation. So if you want to make a 10-foot sculpture and your drawing is going to be 1 inch equals a foot, then you would want to do 1 inch equals a foot on your sculpture. Your model, I mean, of the sculpture. So if you want your sculpture to be 12 feet, and then you decide, which would maybe be a good idea, that 2 inches equals a foot in your drawings, you have to have a big piece of paper. It would be 24 inches. But then you would be making a 2-foot or 24-inch sculpture as well. But you really need to be aware of the ratios, and I really do think it's a good idea to pick something that's like an easy scale to use, such as 1 inch equals a foot, because then if it gets 1.5 feet, it's just 1.5 inches. Planer means made out of planes of material, in this case flat pieces of cardboard or mapboard, but at full scale outside they could be wood, metal, plastic, etc. So the way you color your cardboard and mapboard and the way you surface it with the joint compound or spackle is going to want to reference how you would want the final piece to be made. What do I mean by that? Well, if this was your sculpture and you made it 40 inches for the model, then you would want to color your model the same as what you're planning the sculpture to be, right? Same with these guys. You can make this out of plainer material. This is the final. The model would be the same type of colors and made in the same way to the same scale, okay? So hopefully that's starting to make sense to you. If it isn't, then please ask questions in the different boards and postings, and email me or set up a Zoom meeting. So your model and your drawing need to match the size that you would want the final sculpture to be when it was installed on site. So for example, 1/4 inch on your drawing equals 1 inch on the model and a foot on the final public sculpture. These don't have to be the same, but they need to be the same ratio. But I actually recommend do 1 inch on your drawing, 1 inch on your model, and a foot in real space. It's easier to do it the same way. So these are the steps in the process. Decide on a site that you would like it to be and measure it. You may paste it out if you don't have a measuring tape. So think of an actual specific site that you would put this. Don't just let it be any old site. Pick a place that you would do it, that you're going to design this for. It'll help you come up with ideas and think through them. Brainstorm exercise. You filling out the questionnaire in the mind map. I can't give you the sheet of paper with it on there, but I give you all the questions and it's on a page. So you can answer those and do the mind map. That's part of what you're going to be posting in the discussion board. Then you're going to do small drawings called thumbnail drawings. We've talked about this before. They're called thumbnails because they're small, like your thumb, like the size of your thumbnail is small. Then you do rough drawings, drawings with more detail and they're larger than the thumbnails. And then you do the 3 final drawings from the front, side, and back in full scale. After that, you're going to build the model out of mat board using utility knife, ruler, hot glue, and then clean off the excess glue and spackle it if you wish. Probably it's a really good idea for most of you, and then paint it. This is the association sheet. So you're going to, after you pick the place, think about what is the story of history of the place? What's in the area? What will the final sculpture, not your model, but the sculpture be made of? Would you want it to be wood, stone, metal, fiberglass? All those things could be planar. Who uses the space? What does the space make you think and feel? What does it make you feel and what does it make you think about? On the back of it, do a mind map of the place. This is an example of a mind map. Items carried every day. Comb, makeup, wallet, laptop, water bottle, keys, pocket knife, lighter, compass, things that people would carry in their pocket or purse or backpack every day. Pencil case, mirror, cell phone, I carry a harmonica, different water bottle. This would be just an example of things. And then from there you could go laptop. Okay, Mac laptop. No, not Mac. I hate Macs. This type of laptop. What kind of water bottle? A plastic one. No, I have an Nalgene bottle. Okay, so you could keep on going with this. Keys to this kind of car. A buck knife. No, I don't have a buck knife. I have a Swiss Army knife. So you want to get to specific imagery from this because you're going to use that to draw some images that come to mind from this. So they came up in the mind map, and you're using this information, the history of the place, what's in the area, the people who use the space, what you think and feel about it, to create a mind map. And then you're going to use the mind map to draw things out, specific imagery. This is the research part of it and the idea generation. Research is picking a place and measuring it. Idea generation, you're getting small sketches, better sketches, and then you develop the concept with your final refined sketches, and then your ideas would be, you're proposing it to me, and that's what you're getting a grade on. But you could take this project and propose it as a public art project if you do it well to anyone. So this stuff here is really good because it can smooth it out and make it not feel like just cardboard or mat board. And I'm going to have some demonstration videos you're going to want to watch about that, and also the drawing. And as I said before, that's the same grading criteria I talked to you about. You could find it helpful to do isometric perspective drawing in addition to your front, side, and back. It's like a 3/4 view. You can imagine it being done on like graph paper. So it's looking at it where these are 45-degree angles and it's straight up and down on all the corners. It's not required, but I think it's probably often helpful. If you feel that like you can't visualize what you're building, then I recommend doing one of these at the end. So that takes you through your whole project. The whole ideas of your project, not your whole project. You have to do it still, but it takes you through all the information. Next up, you're gonna wanna look at these videos that are demonstrations about drawing and making it, and then you're gonna start building it and turn it in there, and then at the end of it, you're gonna have a critique of your project. So I hope you guys are doing well and you're engaging this material. If you have questions about any of it, the videos, the lecture, the process, please post in the boards. Post in the in-progress discussion or the question and answer cafe. Email me. There's all sort of ways you can reach out to me using Pronto. I hope you guys engage this project. I think it's really interesting and has a lot of applications for things you would do in the real world as people who make art. And you could actually have a career as a public artist. That's a real thing that people do. So take care, guys. Talk to you soon.